Hello soulmates, welcome back to my channel. This is Sew with Pivots. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, okay? Thank you. So today we're going to be learning how to make those beautiful top and those skirts for a girl of 9 to 10 years old. So enjoy as you watch. So these are the materials needed. I used this 1-inch elastic, made use of this Bale Duchess fabric 1 yard, then I also made use of this flowered crepe 1 yard also. So I went ahead to fold my Duchess into 4 pieces. I'm cutting the back and the front at the same time. Next, I'm going to be taking my top length, which is 18 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance, 19 inches. My shoulder measurement is 12 inches divided by 2, 6 inches plus ½ inch seam allowance, that's 6.5 inches. Then I took ½ inch for shoulder slope. Then I took 6 inches for my armhole measurement. So I'm going to connect it like this. So next is our chest line measurement. Her round chest measurement is 30 inches. Divided by 4 is 7.5 inches. So I went ahead to add 2 inches, making it 9.5 inches. And I'm going to mark the same 9.5 inches down here. And I'll connect it into a straight line. Then I'm going to connect my armhole measurements. The next thing, we're going to cut our neckline. The neck width I'm working with is 2.5 inches. Back neck depth ½ inches, while the front neck depth is 3 inches. You can use 2.5 or 3. I use 3 inches here. So you connect it like this. Then you go ahead and cut. Okay, so for the neckline, I'll first of all cut the back neckline, and then I'm going to remove the back piece. And then I'll cut out my front neckline. I will also slash open that center front line. And then this is what we have. So I want to make a little adjustment to the front armhole. So we're just going to connect it in like this, maybe by ½ inches. This is optional anyway for a child. So I'll just connected it, and then this is what we have. So now we have 2 pieces for our front. So the next thing we're going to do is to place our back bodies on the front bodies, and then we go ahead to join our shoulders. And then this is what we have. I already joined my shoulders together. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the piece I'm going to be adding at the center front. And then this is what we have. That's to cut out our button placket. And this is what we have. The length I have here is about 18.5 inches, while the width is 3.5 inches. And I have 2 pieces of this. I'm going to get 1 piece, and then I'll fold it into 2 like this, and then I'll just stitch this top side only. I'll do so for the 2 pieces. And then this is what we have. I already sewed just that top side alone, so I'll turn it over like this, and then I'll go ahead to give it a press. I'll iron it out so that it can stay in place. And then this is what we have. So we're going to bring in our front bodies. And then before I place it on the front bodies, I'm going to come down by ½ inch, because we'll be attaching a collar to these front bodies. So I'm going to come down by ½ inch. You can use 1/4 inches, whatever works for you. So I came down by half inch. You can see it on this neckline. So now I'm going to place this my piece, this my button placket. I'm going to place it on it like this, and then I'll go ahead and sew. And then this is what we have. I already sewed it. This is what we have. You can see it. You can see the ½ inches I left. So now I'm going to put it together. I want to measure my round collar measurements. So we have 7 inches of fabric. This is a plain piece of fabric. Then I'll fold it into 2. And then fold it again, that's into 4. Then next thing I'll do, I'll go ahead and measure the collar width I want, and I want 2.5 inches collar width. So I'll mark it out, and then I'll just cut it out. Okay, now we're going to place our round collar measurement, which was what, 7 inches plus half inches. 7.5 inches is what I'll mark here. Then on this upper part I'll mark 8 inches, and then we'll slant it this way, and then I'll take out half inches here from this edge, and I'll connect it back to the center, and then we'll go ahead and cut. So I'm going to open it up and then fold it into two properly, and then we'll go ahead and stitch these two sides. Meanwhile, before we stitch, I'm going to fold in here like this, then we stitch here, fold here and stitch. So better so you can iron it before stitching. And then this is what we have. I already stitched it. You can see I sewed that point. So I'll go ahead and notch this end and then turn it over. So this is our collar. So next I'm going to bring my bodies. This is my bodies, and then I'm going to fix in my collar. I'm going to fix it from the back, and then this is it. I already fixed it from the back, and then now we're going to finish it up from the front. So we'll just stitch on it like this, and then this is what we have. So I went ahead to iron my collar, and then this is what we have. So next we want to work on our armhole. We want to cut out our sleeve, and then I have these two pieces of fabric, and the width of this fabric is 5 inches, while the length of this fabric is about 31 inches. I have two pieces of this, remember. Now I'm going to fold it into two. I'm going to place them on fold like this. So I'm trying to arrange it, trying to adjust it. Then I'm going to come in by 6 inches from the center of the folded fabric. Then I'll connect it. So this will form our ruffle sleeve. So we'll go ahead and cut it out. And then this is what we have. Let me open it up. Okay, so I'll go ahead and run a gather stitch on those straight parts. I'll do so for the two pieces. Then on this curved edge, I'll go ahead and fold it and sew. You can decide to serge or weave it. It's up to you. And then this is what we have. I already ran my gather stitch and I already stitched the bottom. So next I'm going to bring my bodies, and then I'm going to place my ruffle sleeve on it, and then I'll go ahead and sew. So I'll do so for the two sleeves. So this is what we have. You can see how I already finished it. Now there's this pointed edge, you can see it. So I'll just go ahead and cut it off. Now for the second ruffle on our bodies, from my shoulder I'll mark 5 inches. I'll do so for both the front and the back, and then I'm just going to connect it into a straight line. 5 inches, 5 inches, then you just connect a straight line. Okay, so this is what we have. So now let's cut the frills we're going to be placing there. So I also have these two pieces of fabric. You can see I have two pieces of them. Let me open them up. So this is it, there are two. I'll place them on each other. Let me measure it. The width of this fabric is 4 inches, while the length is about 25 inches. You can see it. So I'll go ahead and fold all the edges. If you want to serge or weave, you can do so. But it's not available right now, so I had to go ahead and sew. You sew all the 4 edges, and you do so for the two pieces of fabric. And then this is it. I already sewed it. Then the next thing you do, you make a mark at the center so that you run your gathers there. And then this is it. I already ran my gather stitch at the center of that piece, and then I'll go ahead and place it there on that line we marked. So we'll place it there and sew. So you can decide to adjust it and bring it closer to the armhole. You can sew it on very close to this other sleeve. So it's actually up to you. And then this is what we have. I already sewed it. Next we'll go ahead and join our sides. I went ahead to join my side, and this is what I have. So I'm going to cut out this placard that is remaining, and then I'll go ahead and fold the bottom of my top, and then this is what we have. So the next thing we're going to do is to create our buttonhole and then fix our button, and we are simply done with the top. Okay, so now for the skirt piece, we have this beautiful fabric folded into two, and the width of this fabric is 29 inches on fold. Then for the length of this piece, I went ahead to mark out my skirt length plus extra 6.5 inches. My skirt length is 14.5 plus 6.5 inches. We have a total of 21 inches. Now just watch carefully, you will see how I'm going to use the extra inches we added. Okay, now from the top of my skirt, I'm going to be coming down by 5.5 inches. So I'm going to measure 5.5 inches all the way to the end of the fabric. Now while we are measuring this, our skirt is going to be having a ruffles, and it's also going to be having an elastic casing. So we are simply going to use this 5.5 inches. So let me mark it out so that it will come out clearly. So this is the 5.5 inches. I marked it to the end of the fabric. You can see I also marked it on this other side. So you can see it. So let me turn it over. Let's continue. Okay, so now let's measure out our skirt length. And my skirt length, remember, is 14.5 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance, 15.5 inches. So that's what I have left there. Now let me open it up. Okay, so now we're going to fold in this place by 0.5 inches and then fold it over to meet that line we marked, and then we go ahead and sew. I hope you understand. Fold by half and then fold to meet that line, and you go ahead and sew up to the end. And then this is what we have after sewing. The next one we're going to do is to go ahead, you come up by 1.25 inches. I came up from our band to 1.25 inches, and I did so from the beginning of this fabric to the end of this fabric. Now we're going to go ahead and stitch on that line. You see this line now that we mark, we're going to run a normal stitch on it, and then this is what I have. You can see my stitch line already stitched on it. So the next thing I'm going to do is to measure out my elastic. Now this elastic I'm working with, and this elastic, the length of this elastic is 21 inches. Her waist measurement is actually 28 inches. So but for this elastic I'm using 21 inches. So I minus about 7 inches for the elastic so that it can be firm on her. So I'll go ahead and pass my elastic on this first line, on that down line, on the initial line we made. You can see it, not on the upper part, on the down one, on the down casing. So we'll pass our elastic through it, and then this is what we have. So I'm trying to adjust the elastic so that the gathers will be equal on all sides. So after doing so, we're going to bring our two edges together like this, and we go ahead and sew. So this is it after sewing. Let me turn it over. See our skirt looking beautiful already. So now we'll go ahead and fold the edge. You can fold or serge or weave, is up to you. Now mind you, this has a belt. So the width of my belt is 3 inches, while the length of my belt is 60 inches. So I'm going to bring it together like this and then fold it over, and then just mark it out, like you come out by like 1/2 inch, just to form a slant, just to have that slanted edge. So I'll cut it out, and then I'm going to open it up and then go ahead and sew my belt. Okay, so now for the belt loop, I have this piece of fabric which measures 7 inches in length and then 1.5 inches in width. So that's what I want to use to form my belt loop. I'll fold it in this way, fold it again, and then fold it over and sew. Okay, so this is my belt. I already sewed it, and then I'm going to be turning it inside out using a scissors. and then after turning it, I'll go ahead and sew up the opening. So you can sew it up or use hemming gum to close it up. It's up to you. So this is what I have for my belt, and then this is what I have for my belt loop. So I'm going to bring in my skirt, and then this is my belt loop. I'll just cut it into two this way, and then I'm going to fold it in, fold the edge in, and then I'll sew it on my waistline. Please don't sew it on the elastic, just sew it a little like above the elastic and below the elastic. So, and this is what we have already sewed it. So now I'm going to be passing my belt so that you see how it looks. And this came out looking so beautiful. Like, I think even an adult can replicate this. Please, if you know you enjoyed this tutorial up to this point, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, okay? Share this video to other sew lovers, okay? Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.